Oh. Hey, alright, today we are going to be learning about verb conjugation. So, let's watch the slideshow. Verb conjugation. Conjugation. Don't matter. That boy eating the food. Sentences like this are why we have verb conjugation in the first place. These are not pretty by any means. And Latin has conjugation the same way we have conjugation in English, the same way your Spanish has conjugation. So stage 4 is going to be all about verb conjugation in the present tense. Alright, so what do you know about Latin verbs that we have already had? What are some of their qualities? And I bolded qualities. I'd just like you to write down some of the things that you know about Latin verbs. Action verbs, maybe where they appear, what letter they end in, etc. So, for instance, like Argentarius Kaboom Consumit. What do we know about this? What do we know about consumit right here? So I think that there are about 4 qualities that you might be able to garner up. Here's what I got. Action verbs are at the end of the sentence. Consumit was at the very end of the sentence. Consumit is in the third person singular. So the first person singular is I, if I wanted to say I eat. Second person singular would be you eat. And the third person singular would either be he, she, or it eats, or a person by name eats, like Sophia eats, or Jasmine eats, or Kit eats, something like that. And then lastly, we know that all the verbs that we've learned so far are not in the past tense, not in the future tense, but they are in the present tense. So make sure that you take notes on these 4 things that you already knew before. So make sure you put, I knew this. What do you think we are going to learn about verbs in this stage? I should put stage. So if you look at this table right here that I've assembled, I've got the first person, singular and plural, have nothing there. Same with the second person, singular and plural. Really, the only conjugational form that we've learned is the third person singular, consumit, like he, she, or it, or Argentarius. I should have put the banker, eats. Person pointing. So what this is just an activity for you to kind of, exercise this knowledge. So if I say first person, I eat. Second person, you eat. Third person, point to somebody else and say their name. If Russ is right by me, I say Russ eats, or Russ eats, or Russ eats, And go ahead and pause the video and do this. You might look ridiculous, especially if you're in your living room and everybody's sitting around eating, wondering what you're doing. Present tense. So I just want to go over the fact that all we have learned thus far in Latin is the present tense. I walk in the street. We have not had I because this is first person singular. So I, that pronoun is ego in Latin. So whenever you see ego in Latin, it means I. Ego in via ambulo. Wait, what happened to ambulat? Well, it turns to ambulo when you're talking in the first person. So, first person singular, it goes to ambulo. So we know that now. Please write that down in that table that you've created. And second person, should have put that up here. Second person is you. You walk in the street. And you is just tu in Latin. This should not be capitalized. Tu in via ambulas. Wait, what happened to ambulo and ambulat? Well, it turns to ambulas in the second person. So record these sentences. If you have to go back and do that, take a look at the other parts of the video, please do that. The banker walks in the street. Argentarius in via ambulat. Now, this one, it look familiar. Argentarius in via ambulat, the banker walks in the street. We already know that. You guys can easily do that. So, but that's the third person singular, ambulat. So here's what it looks like. The table. I've got ego, ambulo, I walk, and that by itself is pretty much a complete sentence if it satisfies a thought. And then tu ambulas, you walk. Argentarius ambulat, the banker walks. Bang, bang, boom. First person singular in the present tense for verbs ending in at is done. Or first, second, and third person singular for verbs ending in at is done. Now, how are you going to memorize all this stuff? If you're musical, you might want to take that table that was on the previous slide and start to sing it, you know, or you can sing the conjugation, or you can pick a melody from another song and sing it, however you need to do it. I know for sure Kit is probably going to use her booming voice and sing ambulo, ambulas, ambulat. I walk, you walk, he, she, or it walks. And then if you're linguistic, if that's how you learn, you can reread it, say it aloud, or even rewrite the conjugation you've learned. So you can rewrite that table, and you can just keep on writing it, saying it aloud, and rereading that. So just keep doing that. Many people that are linguistic or learn by language through hearing it or writing it or reading it have great success with this type of method. Now, kinesthetic can sometimes be a little bit trickier to find a way to use it, but that just means bodily. If you need to be up and moving in order to understand a concept or understand vocabulary words. One way that I might do it is I might partner up and act out as you say the conjugated verbs, as you say the conjugated verb form. So, ego ambulo, I might say, ego ambulo, I walk, I walk, I walk. Ego ambulo, I walk. You don't actually have to sing it, but and then you could take turns on two. Maybe your partner is over there, and you point to him and you say tu ambulas, and your partner walks. Tu ambulas, you walk. All right, and lastly is spatial. So spatial just means kind of you have a good sense of space, like where you are in relation to everything and how things, shapes fit together If you have a good direction sense, then you probably learn through spatial intelligence. Also, I guess another one would be if you constantly like redesign your room and put your furniture, reconfigure it so it looks like inviting, like people would want to be in there. And interior designers have like a great sense of space. They have spatial intelligence. So for this one, I can kind of explain it to you, but it's easier if I show it to you in person. So if you feel like you have a spatial intellect, let me know, and we'll devise a way for you to memorize your verb conjugation in that way. And that is it. I hope this didn't blow your brain out of the water. And if it was super simple, then that's even better.